Hello, welcome to GiddyGuru.com. I'm Max Milano, your host, and today we have a very special GiddyGuru.com. We are outside the offices of Dr. Ferrer. He's an attorney for real estate. He does other things, but he's the lawyer that we use to when we purchase our property here in Spain. And the reason being is whatever you do when you buy property in Spain, you need a lawyer. You need a local lawyer that's on your side. Basically, when you purchase property, the sellers are working with the agent. So even though we had a really nice agency, that at the end of the day, they're working for the seller, not for the buyer. And especially with the language and everything being so different in Spain, you have to absolutely make sure that you get a local lawyer. So we worked with Dr. Ferrer. He speaks pretty excellent English, so that helps that as well. So we've asked him today to just walk us through some FAQs that expats have about buying property in Spain, and also we've asked him to walk us through how does the property buying process look in Spain from beginning till end. So let's go find out what you'll be looking at when you're buying property in Spain and why you need a lawyer, preferably one that speaks English.
So, good morning, hello to everyone who can watch me, okay, in any format or any way. I'm Salva Ferrer. I'm a Spanish solicitor and I'm practicing law since 1993. I used to work in two different areas. I work for a 50% more or less in conveyancing and all the issues regarding conveyancing, like contracts, taxes, residencies, citizenship, banks, etc. And the other 50% of my work I used to conduct or to manage court trials, especially in civil and commercial trials, and some criminal trials, but it's a criminal white collar. Okay, so not so nasty criminal trials. And I'm based in Gandia, at the south of Valencia province, and I used to work from Valencia capital until the south of Alicante or even Murcia, on the coast and also inland.
So, but you're a real estate attorney, basically.
Yeah. The conveyancing is basically
Real
for
estate.
Services for real estate. I'm not a real estate. I don't work for a real estate.
Right.
I work independently,
Right.
privately. Okay, so my clients is the people who is buying or selling. I work for them. And as I said, I work independently. At the end of the day, what I like, or what is my main aim of the office, is to give a smooth process, a transparent process, where clients can feel their investment and money are safe and secure.
Do I need to be in Spain when I purchase a property? We know, particularly for UK customers, they're used to purchasing the property whilst they're still in the UK. And do you need to sign? How do you sign the papers? Obviously, if you're not here, so.
Okay, firstly, what you have mentioned about to have a lawyer, and especially if it's a lawyer that can speak English, although in Spain it's not necessary or compulsory you use a lawyer, but being a foreigner, not being used with the language, with the legal system, is really advisable to have a lawyer. And if your lawyer can speak English, it's much better, because speaking English can explain in your own language all the business, all the process. Also, the lawyer can draft the main private contracts and documents in Spanish and English, so you can have a better understanding of all the process. So it's highly advisable, okay, to have a lawyer, a solicitor. And going back to your question about if it's necessary to be in Spain to sign all the private contracts. It's not necessary, because nowadays with the modern technologies they can be signed by you and sent to your lawyer by email with a digital signature, or also using a power of attorney. Your lawyer can act on your behalf and can sign on your behalf all that contracts.
Next question is, it's about the famous NIE, NIE. We were, when we came to Spain to try to purchase a property, first thing that we were asked for was the NIE. Not just to buy a property, but you needed to rent a car, or to even to get a cell phone plan. You'll find that everyone will ask you for your NIE. And we also hear from other expats that it's been quite difficult for them to, not so much getting the NIE process, but getting the appointment at the local police station, which is where the NIE is actually given out to you. So how do you obtain a NIE as a foreigner?
Okay, that's a good question, because as you said, it's quite essential to get at some point an NIE number. We call it in Spanish NIE, which is in Spanish Número de Identificación de Extranjeros, which in English it could be translated like identification number for foreigners. As you all said before, it's like your equivalent of a tax number. Indeed, it's a number to be able to sign and to complete the purchase of your property and to pay taxes. Also for everything you are going to buy, like appliances, electric blankets, a car, you will need that, because to have the invoice and to have the guarantee, they are going to request your NIE number. Also, if you do a health insurance or whatever you buy, you will need the NIE number. The curious thing about NIE number, which is a tax identification number, is it's a white paper, it's a piece of paper with no picture. So although it's called identification number, really doesn't identify you, because there is no picture, it's just your name and a number. So it needs to be always together with your passport or with your national identity card, which has your picture on it.
Okay, thank you very much. Why do you recommend getting a local lawyer in the area that you operate versus a lawyer like in Madrid or Barcelona or something?
Well, it's true. It's advisable to have a local lawyer, first of all, because the local lawyer knew the area. Yeah, I'm sure, well, at least it's my experience, wherever you are going to buy in the area I work, I have done, and I have had clients before, so you know the land, you know the area, you know all the circumstances of the plot, so you are in much better position to advise the clients than if you are based 400 kilometers far of this area. Also, for NIE number, it's advisable to use a lawyer, because really there are two options in obtaining the NIE number. The first option is to get an appointment, which is released just once a week usually, and then you need to be there with your lawyer at the police station the day of the appointment, which is quite uncomfortable, because maybe you are in your country and you just receive the appointment 2 or 3 days before attending that appointment. So it's much better to use the second option, which is to grant a power of attorney to your solicitor. That power of attorney can be granted in your country if you are not in Spain. And for example, when I do that, I prepare the sample of the power of attorney in Spanish, in English, or any other language. I liaise you with a local public notary where are you based, and I organized everything. And with the power of attorney done in your country or granted here in Spain if you come to see the property, okay, the lawyer will be able to obtain the appointment for NIE number and to obtain the NIE number.
Perfect, great, that's a good point. Obviously, when you're buying a property in Spain, you need a bank involved, but can I use my local bank in the US or the UK, or do you have to have a bank account in Spain?
Well, it's advisable to have a Spanish bank account, especially for paying the utilities of the property you have bought and paying the taxes. But once that has been said, it's true nowadays with online banking. I'm thinking in Wise, I'm thinking in Revolut, any other company you want, that they can provide an IBAN number, which is an international bank account. With that, it will be enough. Indeed, if you can provide through one of that online bank an IBAN number, is enough to set direct debits for your utilities, and the main benefit you will have is you are going to be less bank charges, because that's true in Spain. Bank charges, okay, are quite expensive, are probably are higher than the services or the charges your local bank do in your own country.
Okay, so we've heard some expats have had some tough experiences while buying property that might be a little bit aged, and also in America it's compulsory to have your property surveyed, mainly because obviously you have a mortgage and the bank wants to make sure that the property is worth what it's worth. So if you're buying a property in Spain, is it compulsory to have it surveyed?
Okay, this is a complicated question to answer, but I'm going to try to be short and clear. As you said, it's right. In Spain, a survey when buying or when selling is not compulsory. So if you want to have a survey, you as a buyer needs to take on as your duty this survey and to pay the surveyor. Once has been said, it depends of the kind of the property you are buying. I mean, if you buy a flat in a community, probably it won't be necessary to have a surveyor, because the community has the rest of the neighbors, has an administrator, and they try to keep everything working well, and especially the main services are communal, so they are kept by the community. In that case, what is advisable is your lawyer do a thorough job with the administrator during the due diligence to find out if there's any big reparation or any big job to be done in the future. If you are buying a house, a detached house or an attached house or a villa, it could be advisable to have a surveyor. As I said, it's not compulsory, so we need to take that obligation for you. So you need to look and you need to pay the surveyor, but it could be advisable, especially if it's a villa or an isolated house and it's quite old. At least a medium surveyor can tell you if in the structure you won't have any problem, and probably if there's any part of the house with damp or with cracks that are not cosmetic, or structural. So if this is your situation, it could be advisable, but remember, it's not compulsory and you need to pay the surveyor. To finalize with that question, what happens if you request a mortgage? It's true, the bank will send a surveyor, but that surveyor really is not going to do a job in structural terms. It's more a job of how worth is the property that if you don't give back the money the bank has lent to you with the property, the bank will recover the money you owe them. So this is what the surveyor of the bank does. So in any case, if you are concerned or if you are worried that the property you are going to buy, you want to know if there's any structural issue or problem, the most advisable thing to do is to look for a surveyor, a technician, an architect, and to do a survey. But remember, it's not compulsory in Spain, and it needs to be paid by you who are contracting the technician.
All right, thank you very much. Last question. There's nothing sure in life but death and taxes, as I say. What kind of taxes are we looking at when we're purchasing property in Spain?
When purchasing a property in Spain, the main tax you are going to pay is what you call stamp duty or convey taxes. In Spain, there are different taxes or different amount of convey taxes depending in which region or which area you are buying. For example, here in Community Valenciana, the convey taxes is 10% of the purchase price. If you buy in Andalusia, probably it's going to be 7% convey taxes. If you buy in Murcia, it's going to be 8% of convey taxes. Also, buying in Community Valenciana, if you are less than 35 years old, you will have a reduction of the convey taxes until 7-8% possibly. But this is something needs to be studied by your lawyer. Once I have said that, this is the easy explanation. But if we go for a more technical explanation, the 10% convey taxes should be paid on one of the highest values I'm going to tell you. One value is the purchase price and the other value is reference value, which is given by the cadastre, which is a public registry. So with an example, it could be clear. Imagine you are buying in 1,000 euros. So the 10% it will be 1,000 euros taxes, convey taxes. But the reference value, which is the value for tax purposes in cadastre for that property, is 1,100 euros. So instead of paying 100 euros, which will be the 10%, sorry I said before 1,000, but it's 100 euros, it will be taxes paid over of 1,100, which is 110 euros. That is quite strange. It happens, but you need to know. So convey taxes in this area, in Valencia area, is 10% of the highest value between purchase price and reference value.
So, thanks Ferrer for the Q&A. And one of the first things you're going to realize when you move to Spain or you purchase a property is that the process is completely different from what you're used to in America or the UK or other countries. So, good thing about the expert here, because he's going to walk you through what will the process look like when you're ready to purchase your property in Spain.
Okay, thank you, Max. Okay, welcome to Ferrer Millet office, law office. Welcome to my office. I'm Salva Ferrer, and I'm going to explain to you the whole purchase process, how it works, costs, taxes, etc. So first of all, I'm going to present my office and my team, and then we will go through the whole process. So, as I said, this is Ferrer Millet Abogados, it's my law firm. I'm a solo lawyer, but I have a team that helps me. I used to work from Valencia, capital, until Murcia, covering all the coast and inland. And now, if you want, we go through the office and through the team and the process. So in the next image, I'm going to present you. I'm Salva Ferrer. Well, this is with beard, okay? So now with no beard, just something out of the explanation is because my mother always said, with no beard, you are younger. So I follow the advice. I'm practicing law since 1993. I specialize in conveyancing, and all the subjects related to conveyancing, and also I act as a barrister in civil, commercial and some criminal procedures. I used to work 50% in conveyancing and 50% in court. Now going to the team of my office, I would like to present you the team. Okay, so I have our English secretary, Suzanne, so as you know, the language is not going to be a barrier. Then I have a junior solicitor that helps me. I have a paralegal law degree, and I have somebody in administration, Amparo, Maria, and Maria Jose, and Suzanne, my secretary. This is the team helping me. Going ahead with the office and the services, okay? What we try to do is to have a client care management, because we really look after our clients, and as I always say, our commitment, our main aim is to give a convey process very transparent with no hidden costs, and where the client can feel the money and their investment is completely safe and secure. So at the end, you have the maximum satisfaction in the process. So going now deeper in the process, or before we go to the process better, if you contract the Ferrer Millet services, you are going to have all that services. You're going to have legal advice in your conveyancing process. You are going to be assisted in preparing all the private contracts, all the documents, and also power of attorney in Spain or in your country if you are not here in Spain. Also, we will assist you and we will obtain your NID number, or if you are applying for a visa, non-lucrative, or visa entitled to work in Spain, whatever kind of visa, we will assist you. We also do the searches or the due diligence of the property, because as I always say, we work independently. We don't work for the estate agent. We work independently, we work for our clients. So we do the due diligence. During the due diligence, during the searches, we detect there is any issue on the property, we stop the process and immediately advise you. And then you have the last word. As I said, we draft all the contracts and explain from you. We assist at the notary for you for completion. If you want to attend personally to the completion of the notary, or we complete on your behalf using the power of attorney. Once we have complete and you are the legitimate owner of the property, what we do is we record the property in the land registry, we pay the taxes, we pay the notary fees, and we set the contracts and direct debits for utility and for council taxes. We do the reconnections, and I said we set the direct debits for any kind of services or utilities. So this is basically the services you get when contracting our services. And now, yes, we go to the conveyancing process, which I always divide in 3 steps to simplify. So we have first step, reservation. You find your property, you put an offer, your offer is accepted. So you instruct your lawyer, in that case you instruct me. So I will request from the estate agent and from the solicitor of the vendor, if they have solicitor, some basic documents, and I will draft a reservation, which is a short legal document, and the main aim is take the property off the market and start the due diligence or searches of the property. Just because at that step we don't know if the property has or not any issue, the money you pay as a reservation, which should be agreed between estate agent and the vendor, and it should be a short amount, a little amount of money between 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, depending on the price. That money paid is refundable. Why? Because we need to develop the due diligence of the searches to know if the property is okay or not. That's why I always advise that money should be kept in escrow in a client's account of the estate agent, or in a client's account of your solicitor, or maximum in a client's account of the vendor's solicitor, because the money is refundable and logically is gonna be easily refunded if it's any problem, if it's kept by the state agent or by any of the solicitor. This is the first step, reservation. We go for the second step. That second step starts when the due diligence and the searches has been finished. So, as I said, if during the due diligence I detect there is any problem, I stop the process, I advise you, I explain if it's possible to solve the problem or not, and I tell you, look, in my opinion it's better not to continue with the business, so you get the refund, or look, this is possible to be solved, we see how to solve the issue, and we carry on with the process. What happens if during the due diligence everything is positive? So I contact you, I advise you, and I say, look, green light, no issues in going to the second step, which is called deposit contract or arras contract. This is the terminology in Spanish legal terms, arras, and is when you pay the 10% of the purchase price. How does that work? It works in this way. Imagine you are buying 100,000 euros and you have paid 3,000 euros reservation. So to complete the 10%, you just pay, or you just added 7,000. 7,000 plus 3,000 of the reservation, you have the 10,000. You have paid the 10% sum of the purchase with the deposit contract. And here it comes the three relevant points of that contract. What happens if you, as a buyer, pull out after paying the 10%? You will lose the money you have already paid. Whereas, if the vendors pull out, the vendor has to pay you double amount that you have already paid. This is to avoid too big a sum. Okay? And the third important thing, in that contract, we set the date for completion, which opens the door to the third step of the process of buying the property. So, in the third step, if you attend to the notary, I will assist you. If it's not, I will complete using a power of attorney on your behalf. The rest of the price is paid and you get the keys of the property, because at this moment after completion you are the legitimate owner of the property in Spain. Indeed, if we go further to the next image, it's like a happy moment, completion, you are the owner of the property. So as I said, you can come to the notary and I will assist you, or I can sign on your behalf using the power of attorney. That are the three steps of the process of buying a property in Spain. What happens after that? After that, what I do is I pay the company tax, which basically is in Valencia area the 10% of the two highest values between purchase price and reference value. Let me explain to you, because this is important. Usually all the lawyers say 10% taxes, 10% of the purchase price. Really is 10% of one of the highest value between those two values, purchase price and reference value. The purchase price is the price you are buying. The reference value is a value that Cadastre, which is a public register for tax purposes, gives each property. So, an example is going to be clear. If you buy 100,000 euros a property, the 10% will be 10% of the 100,000, it will be 10,000. But if the reference value for that house, the public register says the value is 110,000, then you need to pay 10%. Although you're buying in 100,000, you need to pay 10% of 110,000, which is 11,000. Although you buy in 100,000, because in this way you will avoid the revisions for the tax office that it has 4 years to revise that and to ask you for the difference between the 10,000 you pay for the purchase price, 10% taxes, and the 11,000, which is the result of the 10% of the reference value. You will need to add 1,000 and a penalty and also interest or rates. That will be known during the process we have called searches of due diligence. Also, I pay notary and land registry fees, and after that I register the property in the land registry, and I do the reconnection, utilities and services, and I do the direct debits for council taxes and utilities. This is the after purchase process, and it's basically that 3 things. So if we go further with the images, okay, we can talk about office fees if you want. Okay, so what are the fees of my office for all that process? So we have the legal fees are 1,700 euros plus VAT for all included, and in addition of that, on top of that, you have for preparing a paper in Spain 200 euros including notary fees. Also, if we get NIEs, we have, if it's 1 NIE, 100 euros including taxes. If it's 2 NIEs, it's 120 euros including taxes. If it's 3 NIEs, 150, and it depends of the number. For more than 3 NIEs, it's 20 euros each one in addition. And reconnection and direct debits, it's 200 euros for do the contracts for utilities and setting direct debits for council taxes and utilities. Basically, this is my fees, but always you request my services or you contact my office, always we will provide you a quote in writing with all the fees, okay? So it's not problem about that. If we go further, how to pay. Usually I ask the 50% of the legal fees plus the fees for energy number and power attorney when contracting the services, and the 50% of the rest of the legal fees and the fees for reconnection and direct debits when finalizing the process of the conveyancing of the purchase process. This is the way how to pay the fees, okay? And now we can go to expenses. What kind of expenses? And you see in different colors according how big the expense is. In green you have here the big expense, you will have the convey taxes, which I have explained before. Then you will have notary fees, you will have land registry, and sometimes some administrative cost. So this is the level of expenses. In terms of figures, as I said, the administrative cost, if there is any administrative cost, it could be about 200, 250. The land registry should be a minimum of 450, 500 euros, more or less, approximately. Also, you have notary fees, approximately between 1,200 and 1,500, and then the convey taxes, as I said, is the 10% of the highest of one of that 2 values, between the purchase price or reference value. So this is in order of importance the expenses. And yeah, finally, to finish, what happens once you have bought, you are the owner of a property in Spain, and you are going to pay 2 main yearly taxes. Your council taxes we call IBI, which is your council taxes. IBI is Impuesto Bienes Inmuebles. It's like a tax for the assets. We will find out the value of that tax when doing the due diligence, but you need to consider between 450 until 700, 800 euros a year. And usually this is a municipal tax, and usually they will issue in 2 payments a year. But remember, it could be between 450 until 800, 850 a year. Then you have waste and recycling. We are talking about 120 euros a year, approximately. And then, if you are not resident in Spain, then once a year you are going to pay the personal income tax for the property, which it depends on the value of the council tax, but you should expect about 100 something, 200 euros a year. So in total, as I said to you, it could be about 1,000 or 1,200 euros with all of that a year. This is the 3 yearly taxes you should pay when being the owner of a property in Spain. Okay? And I think I have explained practically, yeah. So at the end of the process, what you get from me is the original of your deeds with all the certificates from land registry and tax office and invoices from notary and land registry that everything has been paid, the property is recorded in your name, you have set all the direct debits, and this is the process of the purchase process, and this is how my office and myself manage and develop all the process. So just to thank you for the minutes you have been listening that explanation, which I hope I have done clearly for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Basically, top to bottom, what you should expect when you buy property in Spain. You don't say that you don't know now. For more information, go to giriguru.com. We'll have all the details there so that you can be well prepared when you buy your properties. And stay tuned on giriguru.com for more expat info, so that you don't only survive in Spain, but you thrive. See you at giriguru.com. Ciao.